let's just get into it, Bryan. What's next for Anthony Joshua now after a performance like that?
Not Deontay Wilder. We'll get to that in a second. I think, I guess it'll be Filip Hrgović. Maybe it'll be the winner of Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. I don't think it should be, but I think from a financial standpoint, that makes a lot of sense. From a qualification standpoint, I don't know if he can jump the line ahead of some of the other guys we saw tonight, just because they haven't had their turn yet. And he got knocked off that pedestal multiple times, losing to Andy Ruiz, got it back, and then was outboxed by Alexander Usyk twice. He thought he won the second time. He didn't. He still maintained that in like an interview leading up to the fight. He didn't. I think that Anthony Joshua, who put together a great performance today, let's also acknowledge that while we think Otto Wallin is good, it's Otto Wallin, right? Like, yes, he did a number on Otto Wallin that Tyson Fury did not do. I think everything is going to stop in the heavyweight division anyway until Fury Usyk. If Usyk comes away winning that fight, you really can't sell me on Usyk Anthony Joshua 3. Anthony Joshua's going to have to do some work before that. He should actually fight Tyson Fury if that's the case. If Tyson Fury wins that fight, you could probably talk me into Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua happening, because it hasn't happened yet. Although I would say that we're likelier to get Fury versus Usyk in a rematch. So it makes this a little bit tricky for Anthony Joshua, right? I think he's going to be active. What makes most sense is probably fighting Filip Hrgović for that mandatory slot for the IBF title and become the number one contender. And then he can, ultimately get that title shot.
Yeah, I think Hrgović definitely makes the most sense. But at the same time, I think the fight that I want to see is the one with him and Tyson Fury, regardless of what happens, because that's the bigger fight to make. At this point, Anthony Joshua is 34 years old, and that would be the blockbuster fight to have. Now, if Anthony Joshua wants to stay busy, that's a great route to take, to fight Hrgović. That's a great route. But I think the blockbuster fight, the moneymaker fight, would be him and Tyson Fury. I do not want to see him and Alexander Usyk again.
Mm-hmm.
I know what the result is going to be. We've already seen it twice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the best fight for him to make would definitely be Tyson Fury. Here's another interesting one, though.
Forgot
Another
one,
interesting.
and I think you're going to say it.
It's
I think
Andy Ruiz,
yeah,
because
yep, that's the
we
one.
saw him on the DAZN broadcast, and it's like, where has Andy Ruiz been? Because there was so much talk about him and Wilder fighting at one point. That never happened with PBC. And now Andy Ruiz hasn't fought in a long time. So do we get a third fight with a new fit-looking version of Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua? Because I think that's a fight that is still a moneymaker. And when we get to Deontay Wilder in just a moment, we'll bring Andy Ruiz up again. If you're thinking Deontay Wilder shouldn't hang up the gloves. But I do believe that Anthony Joshua has some options. I know some other guys haven't gotten their turn yet, but because Anthony Joshua's been a former champ before, and had a performance like this, and he brings in a lot of viewership. This is the one thing you can't deny. Anthony Joshua is a pay-per-view guy. He gets a lot of people to tune in. UK fans love him. It's a moneymaker. So I think Anthony Joshua can get any fight that he actually essentially wants after this, which is good for him. You know what I mean? And I think at one point after his second loss to Usyk, we were kind of wondering if he could ever get back up in that top 5. Would you place him in the top 5 now after this performance? A top 5 heavyweights?
Who?
Anthony Joshua. Who else?
Yeah. No, because you were also talking about Andy Ruiz.
That was a while ago, though.
Yeah. But I think, he has to be. But I also think, the fight that probably makes the most sense for him, at least, is Andy Ruiz. However, the reason why I wouldn't want to see that next is because Andy Ruiz has been inactive. We've already seen what happens when somebody who's inactive fights somebody who is very active, in Deontay Wilder and Joseph Parker. So I think that while this would be an interesting fight to make, because that will be my favorite one, but Andy Ruiz needs to fight. He needs to fight somebody, get a win. It could be Robert Helenius, it could be Otto Wallin, it could be any number of dudes that we saw, recently or tonight or whatever the case may be. But he needs to fight somebody.
Yeah, you know what? I would put Anthony Joshua in the top 5. At one point, I was kind of like, I really like Zhang. It's hard.
He's there. A lot of people are going to put him third now.
Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna
I
put
would
him
see
third
that.
now.
Well,
I'm
the
not.
heavyweight division is a little bit
I'm not.
different. Not as many big names, but I like Zhang better than Anthony Joshua. I know that
Same.
might sound crazy, but I love the way he fights. He's proven people wrong, and I think he's kind of one of those guys that could beat anybody. Let's